this piece. Who here knows who Ethel Freeman is? How quickly we forget. Ethel Freeman was the woman in the stadium in the wheelchair that died waiting for help that never came. So this poem is for Ethel Freeman. You know, at the time that all that happened, in the year that followed, there was so much talk and there was so much press and media, and things are still quite terrible down there. Not even talking about the last bouts of hurricanes that came through, but you know, some of the developers snatching lands and people still having no home to go to, and so this poem is called The Why for Ethel Freeman. I'm in line at Dunkin' Donuts, somewhere just outside Paterson, New Jersey. A widescreen TV hangs low above the register, projecting images of what Katrina has left behind. A woman, tear-streaked, dirty. A baby too hunger to muster cry, and her arms asked repeatedly into the lens, why? Why isn't anyone coming to help us? And we in this line stand mesmerized, unwilling to believe, while a stadium moans under the weight of apathy. The man behind me, 6'2", 280 pounds, black, turns to me and asks, why isn't our government helping then? And I look him in the eye and I decide I'm going to answer him honestly. Because 100% of the people left there dying are poor, and 95 out of 100 are black. Mesmerized, unwilling to believe, he asked me, do you really believe that? And I look hard and long at this man, this black man, in a line at Dunkin' Donuts just outside of Paterson, New Jersey, where another type of hurricane met a similar response. Just north of Asbury Park, where the riots of the 60s tore that town apart, and 40 years of corrupt public officials have kept it that way. Just northwest of Newark, where projects loom against smokestack polluted skyline, the only thriving business in town, dealing powder death to your brother. See, we do not need to delve as deep as the Delta for the answer, and silently, I wonder if this man, this black man, ever leaves his house at all. The following weekend, a backyard, a party, Brooklyn. I am telling Roger of my encounter with the man in Dunkin' Donuts, his wide-eyed ignorance at my reasoning, and Roger says, his tongue thick with Trinidad and rum, some black folk I'd really like to slap the shit out of. And I think, how different those exact words would sound falling from my white mouth. I am in line in Dunkin' Donuts, somewhere just outside of Paterson, New Jersey. A widescreen TV hangs low above the register, projecting images of what Katrina has left behind. A helicopter hovers over a hospital, filled with supplies it cannot deliver. Survivors of Katrina have opened their steel mouths wide, a sporadic kind of verse, the deadly language of gunfire, and the stars, mesmerized, unwilling to believe, shut their bright eyes one by one. And I remember a church basement. 1999, New Orleans. Jerome T. stands up in the front of the room and asks, is there anyone new to the program, just coming back from a relapse, who would like a hug? And the long, long, long line of addicts we embraced in the meeting that day. Out of the dingy basement into the light, the 6-block walk to the car in New Orleans, past the crack house, the gun shop, the liquor store, the set of dealers on the corner, past a crack house, a gun shop, a liquor store, a set of dealers on the corner, past another crack house, a gun shop, a liquor store, a set of dealers on the corner, at the car now, sun catching Jerome's gold-plated medallion emblazoned with a claim of 5 years clean, a thicker fire of hope nestled in woolly chest hair. He says to me, ain't no joke getting clean here, little sister. And I think, looking around, actually, the idea is quite laughable. Now, in that line at Dunkin' Donuts, I wonder if Jerome is still in New Orleans, still clean, still alive. believes one of the men on this widescreen TV with a gun in his hand, because I know it is not the freedom of escape sought in that helicopter, but the freedom of escape in the drugs it transports. See, a junkie without a fix is a kind of desperation that never met a sane thought it reasoned with. I know. At a table, a dinner party, the Jersey Shore. My mom's friend, draped in diamonds, her third husband has bought her, says quite exasperated, I cannot understand why they are shooting at the help. When the tsunami hit, those people weren't opening fire on police and rescue workers. And I think some white folk, I'd really like to slap the shit out of. I tell her, those people don't have a crack house, a gun shop, a liquor store, and a set of dealers on every corner. Hey, how about this? Those people got help immediately. And this small circle of upper-class Jews stares at me over ruby-rimmed wine glasses, mesmerized, unwilling to believe recollections of a long-ignored Holocaust by this same country conveniently forgotten. Back in line at Dunkin' Donuts, somewhere just outside of Paterson, New Jersey, a widescreen TV hangs low above the register, projecting images of what Katrina has left behind. The waters have begun to recede. Store windows shatter, the sporadic verse gains in volume, and the death toll begins to be split in 3 columns: drowned, malnutrition, murdered. I think back to a Monday night, an open mic in New York City, yet another poet on stage screaming about revolutions that will or will not be televised, and right now in line just outside Paterson, New Jersey, staring at this screen, mesmerized, unwilling to believe, I realize revolutions happen every day, publicized, bloody, blatant. We just call them riots. 6 a.m. now. Alarm shatters a sleepless, gray, quiet, 6 a.m. now. Alarm shatters, sleepless, quiet, gray of dawn. This poem takes with it a night's sleep. I lay my pad and pen to rest, sidestep Ethel, watchful in the living room, a wheelchair serving as deathbed. Place a hand on either side of the porcelain sink, wash lethargy from my corner of my eyes, stare at my reflection, mesmerized. Unwilling to believe that while all this was happening, I was in line in Dunkin' Donuts buying a goddamn cup of coffee. And right now, in the mirror, I see someone I'd really like to slap the shit out of. Thank you. Good night.